Hey guys, my name's Mary Lily.
I'm Marshall.
And I'm Caitlin.
And we're the hosts of Unveiled Opinions.
Three newlywed girlies with a podcast on any and everything wedding related. Good morning, girls. Happy Monday. I don't know why I said good morning.
Good morning, America. Happy Monday.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Oh, that was on your story. Or I don't know where it was. You sent it somewhere.
Well, hello.
It's because Goldie, I babysat my niece this weekend and she woke me up at 5 a.m. and we literally went to the grocery store at 6 a.m. and she was in her nightgown, bows.
Obviously, fashion
boots.
first.
Yeah.
Love that.
So it was I had a lot of wake up calls. I think this was planned by my sister-in-law.
To go away for daylight savings?
Yeah. She thought, you know what I'm going to do?
You know, it'd be funny.
Leave my 4-year-old with my sister-in-law for daylight savings.
Who doesn't
Yeah,
have
good luck.
kids, isn't used to this.
She'll barely sleep for the weekend.
It'll be
fun.
perfect. She'll recover.
She won't have a migraine on Monday.
She'll bounce back. It's fine.
She'll be podcasting. She'll love it.
It'll really just be her energy. Well, you survived.
I survived, you guys. Now, I was great actually having my niece for the weekend. We went to American Girl doll. She got her first doll, and I loved American Girl growing up. So that was so much fun. We went to an apple orchard, did a hayride.
Wow, festive.
We had people over for chili. We went and did golf in the indoor golf bays or whatever thing. I mean, she
You
had
really
a blast.
did it all to wear her out, and it still didn't totally work.
Yeah, did it work?
Everything. No, it was insane. And I have a mini trampoline. You guys, for working out. Or
Yeah.
whatever. I just put it by my bed and I was laying in the bed Sunday and she was just jumping next to me, screaming. And I was just playing Taylor Swift songs on Alexa. Matthew's like, what are you doing? I was like, what are you doing?
I'm
out
out
of
of
ideas.
options. Yeah. Here's a trampoline.
Jump your energy out, old girl.
Have at it.
I
Wait,
mean,
which doll
smart.
did she get? Or did she get
got
a new one?
A newer one. Her
Okay.
name's Julie. She's from the
Julie.
70s. She's kind of a
Okay.
hippie girl. And she has one little braid in the front of her hair. So we did
Oh,
one
yeah.
braid for Goldie.
So they
She
match.
is.
Yeah. And Goldie combed
that's
her hair
cute.
all weekend. And Goldie was like, look at her long, beautiful hair.
Yeah.
And it was,
That's Goldie's self-talk.
was
She's like, gosh, look at
so
my long,
cute.
beautiful hair.
She's like, we match.
we colored. I'm not kidding. We did so much. When we left, we went to the park. I wanted to be like, do you remember everything we did? Oh, wait. We went to the bowling alley.
Oh my God.
You guys, this was so
This
weird.
was
Friday
72 hours?
night. Yeah, Friday night.
Lord.
I
I'd be
know.
like, do you take naps?
I'm dying.
No, she doesn't.
This was our
They
first time
graduated.
babysitting where she didn't take naps. It was a lot. So we went to the bowling alley Friday and we were bowling, just the three of us at a lane. And then she wanted to go play some video games. So Matthew got an arcade card. You have to put credits, blah, blah, blah. It's all a scam.
Modern technology.
All a scam.
And so she's over there playing games with Matthew. And then this little girl comes over and wants to play with her. I'm like, sure. So they started playing air hockey against each other. Not a big deal. We paid for it with the arcade card. We don't care. I walked across to our bowling lane where Matthew was taking bowling seriously. Gave him a kiss, looked at our, maybe took a little sip of beer from the pitcher, walked back over. Goldie was on the ground getting kicked in the side by this little girl. You guys, I'm not kidding. And I was like, what? Stop.
What?
Stop.
Not abuse at the bowling
And
alley.
I was like, what's going on? And the girl just stopped and Goldie literally got up.
It's like, where's your mom?
And I was like, what? Did you guys fight or something? What
happened?
And I just brought Goldie away.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say anything to that
Other kid, yeah.
I don't know. Not
You're
my
it's
problem.
You're like,
we're at
I'm
a
not
public
even the
place.
mom.
Yeah,
here.
I'm just come back to where we're sitting. Come back to the bowling alley.
Come with us.
And I'm like, what happened? Did you?
Give me a play-by-play.
Were you guys joking around or did she push you down? And she's like, no, she pushed me down. I'm like, I said. And
You
she
laid
just started
there?
kicking you.
Yeah,
and
wait,
she was
what?
like, yeah. And the girl was smaller than Goldie.
And Goldie,
she
I
must
feel
have
like,
been
is pretty
2
tough.
years. And Goldie, I felt so bad, you guys. But it was honestly a little funny. And I was like, Goldie, next time you need to if
Punch
someone
her.
pushes you
Stand
down,
up for yourself.
say, you can't push me down. And come get, if you don't even have to push her back, say, I'm going to
run.
get like my mom or get somebody.
Yeah.
Like you do not stay down and let someone kick you. Goldie looked like she could have stomped the girl too.
Oh my God.
She's getting curb stomped at the bowling alley.
And it was 2 seconds. They were playing air hockey together. It wasn't even like I was being like negligent.
Yeah.
Like our aisle or alley or whatever was directly across from the arcade.
my
like
God.
I could see the arcade sitting in our bowling alley. It was the funny.
You were like
it was
walking back and it was
bizarre.
like, what abuse?
But then Goldie was like, I want to play the arcade games. Like Goldie was not afraid of her. Like did not care. Like was like, who cares? Like I want to go over there and ride on the motorcycle. I'm like, well, I don't want to ride on the motorcycle and I don't want to
Be around
You
her.
can't be alone over here.
Yeah,
anymore.
like you've proven.
Can't be trusted.
The mom like came
If you don't
over
punch her in the
after,
face
and
right
I have
now-
no idea if she like saw or not.
Yeah.
and she was like, "So cute, they're playing together." I was like, "Hee, like we're trying to go."
Yeah, we're trying to avoid
Then-
you.
and then we
playing,
went to
looks like.
Moosehead for dinner. Like I'm not kidding, it was nonstop,
Oh my
back to
God.
back.
I thought that we had a very active weekend, and we did for us.
But you
But
guys, Friday I had like 21,000 steps, and I didn't even take my dog on a real walk. That was literally just following around Goldie.
Chasing her around.
yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, and then at Saturday morning, since we went to the grocery store so early, I wear a Whoop or whatever, and I hit my like
Steps.
optimal strain at like 7 a.m. I was like, great. I
Perfect.
can't wait to be up
I can
for
go
the
to-
rest
I can go to
of
bed
the
now.
day.
Yeah, we're just getting started.
Right?
Just getting started. Well, you survived.
Yes.
I
Geez.
did.
Marsh, anything new and exciting?
Let's see. This
Yeah, top
weekend.
that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't babysit. I did have
Thank
family time
God.
this weekend. John Phillip had his women's pop up for
Yeah, I
Fun.
saw
the
it on
barber.
Instagram. It looked
Yeah,
great.
so he had a barber like women's clothing and then some brackish. And so I went to that on Saturday and got some clothes. And then
McFadden's, Raquel.
Yeah.
And Gregory's formal wear.
yes, and then Sunday was Anna's birthday celebration. So we went to La Belle Helene last night.
Fun.
So that was fun.
What did you get?
I got the salmon.
Did you get the tartare to start?
No, they like there was like let's
I'm in
see.
such a bad mood. I kind of want to go to a nice restaurant after this for dinner.
What did we get? We got like the cheese plate.
Sorry, Kyle, you're on your own.
I know,
Let's see,
seriously.
the escargot. And I feel like there was something else, but I wasn't like starving, so I just like kind
I
Yeah.
know.
of it was a lot.
Why is it that you're never starving
I
when you
know.
go
when
to
you
a nice
go to
dinner?
a nice dinner.
Yeah.
Because you're drinking.
Probably. And then I got dessert, so you know,
Yeah.
of course I got that. But
I'm
and
always
then-
like, I'll just take it home.
Oh no.
Or if you're going out somewhere, wait, best story of Marshall and I, right? When we became friends, we were going out and we went to like our favorite Italian restaurant that has this amazing vodka sauce. And Marshall had like a Louis Vuitton that she got like a year ago. Like you got like a bonus from work or something, like went and bought yourself a Louis Vuitton and it had a pale pink inside. And Marshall was like, whatever, like I'm going to put my leftover pasta in my purse. Like we'll go to the bar with it. We literally showed up at the pregame
No.
pasta alla vodka, like painted the inside.
And
was
then,
no
but
red
somehow-
interior.
But then sometime how I got it out. Like
No,
you will never
we were in a boys'
Yeah.
bathroom. That was probably the one. You know, how gross.
Yeah, it's so
that is.
disgusting.
Some
and I
apartment
remember
in
like these
South End.
girls were like, "Can I get to the sink?" I was like, "No, I have vodka sauce in my Louis." Like, "No, you cannot."
Yeah, step away. Step away
I was
from
like, "You
the
don't wash
sink.
your
We were
hands
literally
anyway."
rinsing.
Yeah. There's honestly, this paper towel is disgusting.
Right?
It's
like,
dirtier.
you don't need this.
Just save
We're
yourself.
saving you
Yeah,
right
we're like,
now.
go pee outside. This bathroom has a disease.
You're gonna
And
get
then I was
something.
upset because I like didn't have any pasta to eat when I was drunk.
Yeah, that's the
lose.
lose for sure.
Yes. But no, it weirdly enough that like crappy bar soap got it all out.
We
Food.
locked ourselves in the bathroom, and I was like, they probably think we're doing God knows what. They do not think
They
we're
don't-
cleaning
yeah.
pasta out of the purse.
That seems unlikely. You're right.
I was like, I just remember looking at it and being like, "You're joking."
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, no, this can't be happening.
Can't be
And
happening.
I feel like we went to dinner, and then I was like dragging you everywhere to like, and we finally got to like one pregame, and you
I
were
think
like,
we were like seeing every single person.
I think I was like chasing a man.
That
Perhaps.
sounds like
But we also
something.
just were randomly seeing everyone, and I like met 1,000 people.
I know. I was like,
don't
we can't
remember
go
any
to
of
this bar.
them.
We've got to go to this pregame.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
like this guy's here.
This
Sorry,
was back
Marshall.
when we like
get another
went to
Uber.
pre-games.
Marshall like gets a beverage and Mary Lily's like, nope, he's actually not coming to
like,
this
he's
one.
actually ugly, so you can't drink that. We're leaving.
My favorite, it was like from college, and it was like a picture of me making out with this guy, and my friend captioned the Snapchat when Mary Lily makes you follow her for the night.
Facts.
Facts.
Always chasing boys.
And now you're chasing toddlers. What a time to be
I
alive.
know. And
getting
now
those steps in,
I
though.
don't
Yeah.
chase Matthew. He basically tries to chase me out of the house.
He's like, you can go.
Yeah, he's like, get out of here. Well, we know that he can always get you out of the house if it means a meal.
So true. Especially warm carbohydrates.
Yeah. Which kind of is what we're talking about today.
Yeah, I know that leads us. That was such a good segue, Caitlin. Wow.
I'm really grasping here.
Look what you did.
So today we're talking about food, wedding reception, meal
At
styles.
your wedding.
Yeah. Food,
Guess.
Food at your wedding.
Who would have guessed?
You don't say.
Nailed it. And so like there's we're going to talk through each of all of the options, the pros and cons of each different style, and we're just going through like the most popular ones. There's a lot now that are out there, but then there's also like several factors that go into this, like selecting the option that works best for you, which can be like the overall tone of the event, your budget, the reception timeline, and
How many friends you have?
Yep.
Just kidding.
Well, yeah.
Or how, big your
many
family,
people?
Yeah.
And then the venue floor.
Yeah, popularity contest.
The venue floor plan.
Yeah.
Which
Oh yeah,
I hadn't really thought of when I
So
was planning my
true.
wedding, but
I did. Like it's not great if with the floor plan to have more guests. That's what our planner told us. My dad
I'm sure he would like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
he was like, okay, well, this is the cap.
he was like, "What a great excuse."
Sounds good.
Okay, so the ones that we're discussing, seated dinner, family style meal, buffet style, stations, cocktail style dinner, and then just some modern honorable mentions.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Start your engines.
Start your engines. I should have put our snack out. We're going to get hungry.
We'll snack in the next one.
Okay.
I'm kind of sorry. One more thing. I'm like kind of over them like eating so much on television, or like I get it. It's a lot of ads, but like, can we stop constantly eating in every episode of The Real Housewives? Like, makes me starving during it. They're like going to Wendy's and eating in the car,
Or every
and it's
time
like
Lisa
a
Barlow
paid
talks about
Wendy's
Taco
deal.
Bell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like
I'm
all
like-
the placement.
I'm like, now it's 9:30 a.m. and I want a bacon
Yeah.
cheeseburger. Like, can someone help me? Like, this
Yeah.
is why diabetes is prevalent.
well,
America
definitely
is obese.
you might need a snack for this episode. We won't have one.
Yeah,
but
sorry guys.
do-
I know I just said I hate when
do
people
better.
this, but
do better than us.
Here we are.
All right, we're going to start with seated dinners. So, if you haven't been to a wedding that has a seated dinner, this is the most formal and traditional of the options. Typically, you're going to get like an appetizer, course, a main course, and a dessert served tableside.
is this typically the most expensive? I'm like not like I'm like literally asking.
It
that as
wasn't the
well.
most for my venue. Buffet was.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that we'll go
Oh,
through for each of them.
My mother-in-law was like, I think it's more
I think it depends on
expensive.
your venue and like the food you get and
no,
stuff.
you're right. She said it's more expensive to do the buffet style
Yeah.
than it is to do the seated. I was confused.
It does
maybe
kind of
cut
seem.
that. That
Yeah.
seems so dumb.
No, I was surprised too, honestly.
I was surprised when I looked at it originally when I was like planning my wedding.
Well, I also remember the seated dinner being more expensive for our
Right.
venue.
My parents like didn't really give me many options, you guys.
You didn't get to see the full list.
They were like, this is what you're doing.
Yeah, that you got the
Just
short
show
list.
up.
Okay, so that's typically it's an appetizer, main course, and then a dessert served table side. The main dish is like main course is handled either one, everybody gets offered the same meal, and you might get asked like, oh, are you vegetarian before they bring it out?
I always do that.
And then the other is guests select their entree from a menu once seated. So like you sit down and there's like a little table card. A wait staff comes around and says, okay, which of the options do you want? And then the third, which I think 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 are the most common, is when you pre-select your entree when you RSVP.
Yeah.
So you say, I want fish, chicken, steak, whatever.
Veggie.
So
That's
what do you
I'm
love
most used to.
about a seated dinner?
What do we love about it?
Yeah. I know, Marshall, you are the one of the three of us who had one.
I like the flow of a seated dinner, and I like how you get options. You know, you have your salad. We did past hors d'oeuvres for the cocktail hour, but yeah, I just like the flow of it and everything, and how you do have a seat. I feel like I really like having a seat. That's like mine.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you can leave all your stuff there. Like,
Marshall needs a locker.
yeah. But no, I really like, and I usually feel like the food at like when it's the catering, like when they offer that, they specialize in it, you know? So it's like, you know, it's like probably going to be really good. I don't think I've ever had a bad meal from a seated dinner.
I would say, yeah. I mean, I think the love about a seated dinner is it is like a designated timeline. You kind of know what to expect, and it's very clear on like, all right, you're going to sit. I also think this is another thing I think I like is like you are with people at your table that
Hopefully.
Usually, yeah.
usually.
Well, I love how you're giving me that face. You're the one of my friends who have been at a table with people you have no idea.
That wasn't like totally
Right.
assigned.
But I'm just saying.
But it's like you're typically at a table with people that, and you get to know them, and you get to kind of like build community, if you will. Of
It's
like,
almost like they're your friends for the wedding.
yeah,
too, you know?
it's like you
your
like
little
you
buddy.
have something in common.
Yeah.
It's like your shared table.
Yeah.
No, I love a seated dinner. I'm just like impatient though, and never that hungry when I'm like at a wedding.
Yeah.
But I do like it. Like does help me like concentrate and like get to see everything. I feel like if it's not a seated dinner, a lot of the time I'm just like everywhere and like
Not focused.
If you
on,
ask
like,
me what happened, like I'm like, oh, I think I was outside for like half of it.
Yeah.
I do
Feel
like
like
it
I
too
was
for
busy.
the alcohol aspect. Like, you know, if you don't want your guests to like get trashed right at the beginning,
You can limit it,
You know,
'cause
it's like
it's past.
it's just more of like you're like eating right now. Then like when the dance floor opens up and everything, you can
Yeah.
be crazy. But if that's like something you're worried about, I feel like a seated dinner is a good way so people can pace themselves.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's definitely, I feel like some of the benefits is like, as you said, Marshall, like you get to control the look and the feel of the meal. And you have a lot more say of like the timeline and like this is when we're starting. And the staff is fully like, okay, we know what to expect. We know how to move the evening. And so it's just like a very efficient way to serve dinner.
I agree. Yeah.
I feel like since I was such a control freak as a bride, like this was great for me.
But I also like think just out of the like, I can't imagine how do they prepare if they don't collect it on the RSVP for a seated dinner. I mean, I can't imagine that you're just like guessing at what percent. That just seems a little, I don't know, to me.
Yeah.
You're talking about like the second option where it's almost like you're at a restaurant.
Yeah. Well, that and when it's like they don't ask the first one, technically they didn't ask at all. They just have a vegetarian
You offer the same.
option.
Yeah.
But you think, so the second one being, again, guests select their entree from.
Also, I guess I just eat like a third grader. Like
but
I don't want
Mary
a steak.
Lily,
Like maybe I want a plain chicken breast and like some risotto.
The thing is that it's a pre-selected menu. You're not just like walking in and you have a menu of 20 options like we
I know,
are
but
at Bricktops.
so what are they saying? Like 20?
get to-
Do they think 20% of the guests are going to go vegetarian? And like
think
that's
this-
what they like ballpark for?
Honestly happens the most probably at restaurants because most of the time restaurants are
Like when that's
equipped
the venue. Yeah.
to handle like this,
Yeah.
your receptions at a restaurant.
Prefix.
And it's a preset menu.
But how do they say it in France?
I don't know. I'm in
perfect.
America.
They say it like some way.
Yeah. But ours was you turn it in with your RSVP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which again, I think that's one of the more common.
Yeah, that's what I feel like I always do.
Yeah.
I like to get the vegetarian
Yeah.
thing. Usually it's just something I'll like actually eat more than like sitting down to cut up a steak. I don't know why. That is just beyond me at a wedding.
But that is like wild because that's what probably I think they told me like 50% of people get steak. And
I know everyone.
True.
I know at every
was, like,
wedding you
surrounded
go
by
to,
steak. I get chicken.
it's steak. So
I usually get chicken or fish.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not eating a meaty
I'm not eating
steak.
a huge steak because I like need to go sleep.
I want like some mac
Yeah.
and cheese.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, again, I have the palate of
Well,
a third grader.
and that goes to like some of the challenges that a seated dinner can bring is that the variety is going to be limited. You're going to have certain options. It's a preset menu. You don't have as much control of what shows up on your plate.
Yeah, I had a vegetarian pasta the other day for my vegetarian option, and really it was great. I think I would suggest that. I know that's like the most basic vegetarian dish ever, but it's like kind of a classic. And if you're doing it for a big group, like maybe let's not do like some random tofu dish.
No, I think
Just
mine was
stick with a base.
my option for the vegetarian.
I think
it was,
I had chicken at
it
your
was
wedding.
it
Actually,
was like a zucchini boat. That's what it was. Because we do have a couple of vegetarian friends, so we actually had a good amount of people that chose it.
yeah. But I mean, I just like highly recommend the pasta because I was like, oh hell yeah, pasta. Everyone at the table was kind of jealous. I had pasta too.
So variety, and then it can also require more manpower to like serve and clear plates. So while the cost can be lower, the labor fees, the staffing fees might be higher.
Yeah.
And then Mary Lou, we kind of heard from you of like favorite meals, but like, have you been to a seated dinner at a wedding where like, what are the cons? Like, what are the things that we don't love as much?
I don't love always. Marshall's like, I love having a seat. That's like just not me. Like, I don't like feeling like I can't get up, I guess. I'm just like one of those people who's a wanderer. Or like, I'm just like, I have my own plans in my head. Like, are you?
That's for sure.
I like having a home base. Like if I want to
having a home
somewhere
base.
to like put my phone, I don't want to have to carry everything.
I
like
put everything in Matthew's pockets and I usually don't carry anything around.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I think for me,
I'm just a Rolling Stone.
my attention is like, and again, this is like we're going through all of these styles, and they all have things
have
that
their
we
pros and
like and
cons.
that we don't. You're never gonna have a thing that is
Well, you're
like,
never going to please everyone.
yeah, you're not going to.
Yeah.
Like, and there's also like styles, I think, per region. Like,
Yeah.
like some people in the South, I think the stations are more like
Popular.
in the
Common.
South than they are in the North. And there are like traditions based off certain things. So like whatever like you want to do
Yeah.
is fine.
For me, I feel like I just get a little drunk when I'm sitting there for a while.
I agree too.
I think I'm already drunk, but I feel it more, and I'm like,
well, it's because you have like two,
well, then you
like
stand up.
you have two vodkas at cocktail hour, and then like,
You're
what
like,
do you
oh,
want? And
shit.
you're like, bring me more white wine, like bring me more red wine.
Yeah.
And then like I'm
You're
like getting
pounding wine.
martinis from the bar at the same time. And
Marshall's like, it's a great way to save money, unless you're us.
yeah,
Well,
you guys at my uncle's,
I didn't even know it was like a way to save money
at
until
my
I
uncle's wedding, like
I was like, oh, great.
I think I've mentioned this before, but like when you have an Italian wedding, like you ding your glass and it makes the couple kiss. And I was so drunk at one of my uncle's weddings and I was dinging the red wine glass at our seated dinner.
Did you
We had
break it?
such a long seated dinner. So we ding the glasses so much. If I was the bride and groom, I would be like, not
Enough.
funny. Like,
Enough.
get over
Stop.
it.
You don't get a
No,
glass.
Couldn't quit.
Yeah. You get a plastic cup.
Could not quit
Along with your
until
kids'
I
meal.
banged the wine glass with red
Oh,
wine
God.
all over the table.
That sounds like you.
So like I can't do a seat. It's too much to hold me to this place.
Yeah. So if any of our listeners are having a seated dinner and you remotely thought about inviting us, make sure you do not invite Mary Lily.
Maybe have a kids
No,
table.
I'm great at it. But
I'm great at it. All
Just
right.
don't give her
are
a
we at a
sippy cup.
seated dinner this weekend, Caitlin? Do you remember?
No, I don't think we are.
I was like, what's the answer?
You're like, oh, I don't know.
I just want to leave you in suspense. Okay. So anyway, so from a cost standpoint, what you can expect is, again, service and labor might be a little higher. You also need to contribute for rentals, because if you were doing another option that may not require like as many, like everybody to have a seat, then you will need linens, chair rentals potentially. And it is a way that you can control the price a little bit more.
But sometimes a lot of that stuff you have to do through the venue venue.
And
or
some of it's included,
in the venue and stuff like that.
So moving on.
Moving on to buffet style dinner. So what's included in the buffet style dinner? So that's usually long tables topped with a variety of food. We've all been to a buffet. Love them. They usually offer like the most variety, which, you know, is I think a newer thing in weddings, to be honest. Like it is way more traditional to have pretty simple, pretty traditional food at a wedding.
Yeah.
So having a big variety and a buffet style, I think, is a newer kind of tradition. So I don't know, what vibes would you say buffet gives off?
I think just that. It's a little more laid back.
Laid back, very
Still
laid
traditional, but laid back.
back. But
Yeah.
also it's kind of nice, like there's no, usually with buffet style timeline, like I like to run around.
You get
So
to run around.
They might be like the buffet's open, but
Right.
it's not always like,
yeah.
They
you
might
know.
have not have an attendant there the whole time. or-
Right.
Yeah. So you could come back and snack, maybe.
which is nice, you know,
Yeah.
but I know with weddings also with buffet style things and also like stations, it's usually like we will have them open, like the buffet will be open from like
Yeah, a certain
6
time.
to like 8.
Yeah.
And like that's it. And then if you can't consume any more food, like
You're done.
you're done.
You don't get any.
Even if there's like more in the stuff, which
I don't know that I've been to a wedding where the buffet didn't run out of food,
really,
which was interesting because researching for this episode, it was like the buffet will
Usually,
be more
yeah.
expensive because you have to buy more
You
food.
have to buy more food.
Right.
But I think it's also people are like kind of building their own plates too.
Yeah.
And like,
and I feel like a lot of times they do that. It's like barbecue.
exactly. It's like stuff or like mac
I
and
went to-
cheese or like,
Yeah.
Again, the wedding Sean took me to, the one wedding I've been to buffet. I don't think I went back, you know? So I have no idea if they ran out. But I'm
feel
not
like
eating at a wedding.
I feel like at a buffet, I usually go more for the sides
Yeah.
than the like meat part of it. And I feel like the sides are always,
Also,
they
like,
always are gone.
depends on what I'm
Yeah.
wearing.
Mashed potatoes.
Like, am
Yeah,
I
it
in
depends.
the mood to shove my face? Also, if I'm a bridesmaid that day, I've usually eaten the whole day.
There's been food all day.
Well, it's because like I'm anxious the whole day and they're giving you food and I'm like, what can I do with my hands? Like, eat a sandwich.
No, that's true. I was like literally thinking that too. I was like, I'm pretty
So
sure it's always they run out.
Also, it can be kind of challenging, like having everyone have to go through a line. It's like a little.
That's
like-
hard with the timing.
Yeah.
Do you
It can
release
take a long
by
time.
table or do you open it up
Yeah, that's
all
the other
together?
thing. The DJ calling people.
I think the table's awkward, like table by table.
Table
I don't
by
know, I
table
kind
is
of-
when I
It sucks if
experienced
you have a lower table.
What did you
or-
experience, Caitlin?
the lack of food
Oh.
because we were like one of the last
Yeah.
tables and it was like, no.
Didn't you go to a wedding? This is no shade, no hate, no shade. And it was Chipotle catering buffet style. And
Yes,
did they
ma'am.
run out?
Yes, ma'am.
That was some investigative questioning, you guys.
It's a journalist.
Yeah.
Well, like when I was
Remember,
in
anyone watched Salt Lake City the other week? And like,
God.
does she have a liquor brand? Okay.
well, that happened. I was at a high, like one of the first couple tables, and but I was already done with cake and everything, and like they hadn't even gone.
Well,
through.
yeah, weird. It throws off the whole time.
That's what I do feel like. The timeline
I
gets
feel like you just start looking at everything,
and
you're
it can
like,
be
I'm hungry.
10 to 30% more than a seated dinner. So very odd, but we're not sure if the article's, like 100% factual.
I think it just depends on the venue, probably.
Yeah. All right.
And then are there any benefits?
Yeah.
You can wander.
You can wander.
You can wander. You can have a lot of variety. It can be like stuff that a lot more people, like, I don't know. Maybe not everyone has champagne taste and caviar dreams.
Yeah. Well, as
So-
you said, you like if you're not starving, you just get to pick the appropriate size food that you want. Or if you
Right.
are vegetarian, you can pick sides.
Or if you're a fake vegetarian who just eats like a 5-year-old, then all you have to get is mashed potatoes. And you don't have to get the chicken with the bone.
Also, it's like, what if you like sent in, like when you RSVP'd and you're like, I think I want fish. And then that day you're like, I can't think of anything else.
And then you find out it's tilapia.
It's like fried flounder. And like, you're like, I don't really like fried fish.
Yeah.
So
I mean, my brother.
You're like, I've been drinking red wine. Fish doesn't really go.
That's
with my
not really what I'm
palate
going
tonight.
for.
That was my brother's wife and his wife's wedding. Like the food was amazing, but I was like, who was I when I submitted this RSVP card?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Like-
you're like on a crazy diet.
Yeah, it's like when you go grocery shopping when you're on a diet and you get home, you're like, I don't want any of this.
Yeah, you're like, this isn't
guess I'm
me.
starving or going out all
it's like,
week
I
and
don't
being
want
poor.
carrots.
This is not me.
Yeah, no.
Well, onward, family style. So, family style.
I've never been to a family style.
I haven't either.
I'm shocked.
Oh,
I know people like
I'm kidding.
I know one person
it's like,
that's into
have you
one.
been to a bunch?
Is it like a regional
Do they
thing?
do that
or-
in Europe
Well,
sometimes? maybe.
let me tell you what
Caitlin,
to
fill me in,
expect.
please.
It's pretty straightforward, but
Is it like Buca de Beppo?
there's going to be plates and platters on
I
your
know
table.
what family style is.
And the first course is typically served with like 1 to 2 options. So that's like your appetizer. And then the main course includes a protein and 2 sides.
Cool.
I think Johnville Banana went to one.
What? Okay.
Sometimes we do family style, like Italian restaurants with my family.
Yeah, like I've gone to restaurants where they do it.
No, I'm sure it's fine and nice.
It's like
But,
probably
like,
Gills
also
idea of hell,
is-
but yeah.
Is someone else serving you the food or are you serving
You
yourself?
serve.
Serve yourself.
You
I think.
serve.
I think that's just messy. And you're all wearing nice clothes. Like, it better be casual. It better not be somebody's going to chirp on
And
me.
what if I like really like one of the sides and I like want more?
You guys, Matthew,
Okay,
is
they
just
come
a
and refill
messy
it?
person.
No, they don't. I don't think they do. I think it is like you, which kind of does make it
Yeah.
a little like
No, Matthew grew up
Awkward?
with 4
Restricted?
siblings. It's like fight for your life when the food hits the table.
where is this?
I'm just saying, like, that's how like Matthew and like people are like raised
how
with a lot of
Gil's, yeah.
siblings. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
you go and like you get the biggest helping and you might not even want it.
Yeah.
But I feel like
You
that's
get it
what
so-
happens
Get
in
it.
that stuff.
And you also get
You're
it so they can't
nervous.
get it.
Yes.
Yeah. It builds a little competition.
Yeah.
But the benefits
Love
offer lots of options for people to choose from.
I feel like that's really easy if you want to like use a more inexpensive caterer to have like pre-prepped stuff.
Well, it's
maybe.
also efficient to build, like, serve the meal. So if you are like, I don't want a buffet because, it is the long lines and it's all the things.
Oh, it's like a buffet just separated up.
Yeah. It's a buffet among your table. You
And
gotta
you
throw
have to
some
pay, like,
olives.
A table buffet.
Yeah, exactly. Family style. Builds a little community and a little competition.
You guys, back in the day, High Hampton, it served only family style meals, and I would only eat cake, and my parents would let me
Wow. What a life.
for that week of my like,
That
year. It would be like, we don't feel like fighting you.
Like,
So
whatever.
yeah, I think like the advantages of this would be the variety, and it also, again, you don't have to stand up and wait in line.
Yeah. And I do feel like it is a cost effective.
Yeah. Well, actually, it says it's more expensive, which again, I like just don't understand.
Goodness.
And then you, again, similar to the buffet, you don't want to run out of food.
Mm-hmm.
So you may end up ordering more or you run out. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then other things that just to kind of consider is that the platters can take up a lot of space. So you may not be able to have florals or decor.
But then I guess you wouldn't have to pay for this.
So it's what's important to you.
But then they take the plates away and your table's empty. So
Yeah. And then,
Then you're dancing.
what happens if you run out of food?
What if you're like going to another table, like, hi,
Hey,
can I
can
have
I-
some of your grits?
did you run out of
You're
bread?
building
I need
community.
bread.
That's what I
You're
wanted at
growing
my
your
wedding.
community.
That's what you're concerned about.
I'm like, don't talk to each other. You don't need to find out all of these lies.
You don't need any more friends.
That's true. Next.
Cocktail style dinner, which I have been to a couple like this.
Yeah.
So-
Smaller weddings.
This
No.
was yours, right?
Mine wasn't cocktail style. Mine was like,
Those are stations.
I guess it was a mix of both.
Yeah. No, actually, every
Yeah.
cocktail style wedding I've been to has been big weddings,
Yeah.
like really big weddings.
Just kidding.
I
really don't
heard
know.
that cocktail style is a very Southern thing.
Yeah.
For big,
It's always
big
been
weddings.
Southern and it's been like 400 people plus. So
Maybe I did have that.
you're like, now that I hear the description. But yeah, so it's
I totally helped research this episode and I'm up to date.
Present.
anyways, it's like traditional small bites offering And then for the vibe, I feel like it's good for couples also that want their guests to be like out on the dance floor or like wanderers like Mary Lily.
Yeah. The Mary Lilies of your crowd.
Yeah.
Guys, Matthew's never around. Like I have to wander. When I'm sitting at a table, like Matthew's just not there. And I'm just like, hey, and everyone's there with their husband talking. And I'm like, what's up?
You're like, let me go find.
It's such a fun time. Matthew's like with the DJ. I'm like, okay.
But then it's also like more unique than a standard buffet because I feel like it is more options. There's smaller little hors d'oeuvres. Like, trying to think of what it was like little, the tomato bisque with the little like grilled cheese in them. But they typically do serve like filling hors d'oeuvres. So it's like, because that's all you're getting. You're not getting a meal, a full blown meal. So you have to do like some carb heavy, protein heavy things. But yeah, I feel like that's like kind of the.
It's definitely like it's nice. You don't have the home base, but it's nice because you're popping around. And I think the other thing to keep in mind, like with that, if like the vibe is like your layout.
Well, also your
like
guests.
lots of cocktail tables, no chairs. You have to worry about those.
Well, it's like
and
Matthew
you can have it more spread out.
Are kind of a party couple. Like a lot of our friends like to go out with us. Like we see out. Like so, I feel like that was more appropriate for us. It's like. We do have a lot of guests that want to do their own thing. But do you have, if you have a wedding with guests who like do want a home base and like, I think it's like, think about who you are and who you're inviting.
Exactly. But yeah, some benefits, you don't have to do a seating chart, worry about the tablescapes. Like we were saying, a lot of food off, like variety. Yeah, like the guests can easily dance, mingle, do whatever they want to do. They don't have to just sit at the table and, feel anxious. But it is engaging because like the whole venue is open, you're not like closed off from
you get to explore. Well, I think to wrap up on cocktail, because like talking about like what we like, again, small plates and then any downsides. I think Mary Lee, what you said is like you have the party crowd, but if you have a lot of older guests, and it's your wedding, you had tables, so it worked.
But I've been to some where there's 3 dinner tables.
Cocktails.
Like there's cocktail tables and then there's like 3 tables where you can sit, and those easily get taken up. And then also what I ran into at this one wedding, the cocktail tables, a lot of them turned into like trash tables almost.
Right.
It was like
just
everyone put
your
their
stuff
plates
down
there. And it's like, once again, I want to lean. I want to lean on something for a moment.
Well, technically, with our venue, we said we did stations.
I feel like yours was stations.
But
yeah,
I guess we did both. I don't know. We had past stuff in the beginning, past drinks, past food. And then we had stations, which is kind of our next one, which is basically like a buffet, but like with a lot of help. We had a carving station, which I know is pretty popular. We had build your own risotto, which was just like my favorite. And I don't know the rest. But stations, I think, is really fun because you can kind of have like the variety of a buffet and have more stuff, but it's also like the class, the elegance, someone's helping you. It's not like a mad dash for the thing. A lot of the times you might like Caitlin's wedding with stations, but we did have our own assigned seats. So it's kind of like what Marshall likes, like being able to have the variety to move around, but also like being able to have a place to put your purse. And it also like,
and we had the centerpieces and like
you could still do your decor and everything.
We had to do the seating chart, but it's still like the stations allows it to be interactive.
Right. And I feel like a lot of stations you can do like are fun, what the couple wants. Like I've heard of people doing like who love bacon or something, having like a bacon bar, a baked potato bar,
I've been to those,
pizza things. Like, so you can really do it. I feel like in venues make it fun these days to really do it how you want to. You don't always have to create a seating chart to a stations. Like I said, I didn't. We did make sure to have as many like tables as we could. And I think it was nice that we did it over summer because there were a lot of outside tables as well, which helped. But yeah, I mean, everyone wants to sit down.
Just sometimes,
And I guess like, what would y'all say the vibe that stations provides?
I think it's like more relaxed. It
feels like Sunday brunch after church at the club.
Yeah, it does. It's just like it, it's traditional, I think, but just a more relaxed traditional.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I know personally challenges, and I have experienced this from weddings. And this was one of the things that like, I like stations. Obviously it's what we chose for our wedding because it was just like, it did help with the timeline and it was like, we had a layout that could accommodate that, but that you can still have lines. And I noticed at at a couple times that there was like a really long line for some of the stations. And we even had put on the tables the menu of what people could expect at the stations. I don't know if that like helped, or I never like followed up with anybody, or like if it didn't. I saw that. Because it was like, okay, at least you know what's out there and you're not just like aimlessly wandering the room. But then I don't know if that like contributed to more lines.
Yeah.
Because you were just like,
you're like, oh,
popping
I
in
want
one.
this, not the other. Yeah.
I feel like the only issue I've seen lately with stations besides the line is depending on your venue and the room you're in. I was at a wedding last year and there was like this one station that had really good food and no one saw it. Like it was almost tucked away.
It was too.
Yeah. So and everybody's like, where'd you get that? I'm like, it's in the corner over there.
Right. I think one thing that was nice about ours and having stations was like where we had our weddings, like an old building. So it was a lot of separated rooms, which I feel like sometimes can be like annoying. And then you want one big giant like ballroom. But I feel like for us, it was nice to kind of create like different atmospheres. Like I felt like there was a food room. Like if you were hungry, like go in the food room. There was ample seating. Like, and then in the breezeway, there was like charcuterie snacks, like whatever, you know what I mean? So then there was like another room where the band was and dancing, and then there was outside with the bar. So I feel like I really liked having stations. It gave me kind of like the freedom for like, I don't know, food was just like, if you want to get it, like we're having a good time.
And then, I think it's a good way to like show your personality and like just like things that you like. I'm trying to think of like different weddings that we've been to. We did like one of our friends, they had like a chicken and biscuit wedding and like that was good.
Yeah.
There's just like, it's
I've seen people do hot dogs.
It's a way to like show you can, it's bite sized.
It is.
It's not like you have to commit to an entire entree.
And then the next thing is some honorable mentions that are kind of fun.
Yeah. And then, but just from the stations of like a cost standpoint, they say that it's similar to like buffet family style.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that also, I don't know why. I like just remember looking at our paperwork. I was like, this, I don't know. I guess I really didn't pay attention. But the factors in cost for additional attendance and rentals. So think again, furniture, linens, decor. We didn't do any like decor on the stations because there wasn't room.
Yeah.
But if we wanted other linens.
My florist was like, do you want like blooms everywhere on the food? I was like, no.
No. Yeah. And so
I feel that might be a little messy.
that can, again, contribute to additional cost and fees. And that's just something to keep in mind. And then, we have our honorable mentions.
Yeah. So like the first one is food trucks, which I've seen a lot more lately. Probably in like the past like 5 years. I think it's good if you have a smaller wedding, like small guest count, just because of the lines and the logistics there. And also if your wedding is a little more like maybe casual or something like that, because, I feel like it's like pizza or, hot dogs or, whatever, stuff like that. But I mean, I feel like you could do it if you wanted to do something more formal. You just might have to search a little harder for a food truck that can accommodate that.
And you think like you are it has to be a time of year where your guests are like good to be outside.
Right.
So it could be.
Well, and I've been to one that had like a food truck for alcohol. Or it was one of those ones
the like brew and bubbles.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. You just have to look at your venue because, it's a lot of venues you can't bring in.
Right.
Outside.
But I think it's great for like the venues that are like a literal barn and you have to bring in all your
like
vendors.
The ones where it's like they do it at like their parents' house or something like that. But then it says if you have a larger crowd, consider mixing food trucks with past hors d'oeuvres or snack stations to avoid super long lines and wait times. And then also some other things to just consider would be like the logistics to like know the limits of your food truck.
Yeah. So they don't run out of stuff.
Yeah.
Know the
and like,
limits.
well, like also it's like, do they do sides or is it just the main? Like, do they just do the main
just have
entree?
tacos?
Yeah. And like, don't forget like essentials like serving, bussing, cleaning, plates. So ask them beforehand what all they include.
Right. Or have like ample trash cans and stuff. So
you
it's
don't,
not like
you don't
piling
want that
up
one.
stuff.
I know. I hate that. But then another honorable mention is late night snacks, which I did have this at my wedding.
Yeah.
It was actually required by the venue.
Really?
Because we had like, the extra hour of the bar, and if you have 5 hours, you have to have a late night snack. So they had things like ice cream sundae bars and like all these like little like stations, but I wanted it to be passed because I'm like, who's going to go in there?
Go?
You know?
You have it.
Yeah, it's like a waste of money.
Yeah. So we did mini tacos and they were passed out. But then my planner, when she did other weddings where you were allowed to bring in outside food, she's like, we've done In-N-Out, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, like, so it's a fun way to like show your personality there too.
And it's a treat. It's like you're not always eating that food.
Exactly.
Been
it's
to
like
a
you
wedding
might be a little
especially at like if you've been like, for the wedding drink.
And it's like there was one wedding and they had Taco Bell. And then one of the weddings we went to when I was sorority sisters, her husband is in like the like program at Chick-fil-A, like to become an owner. And so they had like Chick-fil-A as their late night snack and like they had other Chick-fil-A elements too. But it's just like, it is a fun way to like be like, have your personality.
And I feel like guests love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
They love it. So. It's like an unexpected snack.
Yeah.
So these are our unveiled opinions
on all things food.
All things food.
I am hungry now.
Follow you guys, like, subscribe. It really helps just with everything. So if you like us, if you like what you're hearing, give us a like.
DM us.
Yeah.
And like us.
Bye.
Bye.